on, everybody? How you doing? It's been quite a interesting past few days. I don't really know how to even describe it, but there is a really profound intensity in the air, and the playing with the energetics is just completely off the top. It's completely over the top to such a degree. And we have to consider that perhaps this is related to the energy harvesting before the eclipses, or the software update, or whatever this Mandela reality, however it resets itself, and I do believe it resets itself. This is an interesting one. I'm not 100% sure on this. My friend on here said that it used to be the case that 31 days in a month were never consecutive, that they always skipped a month. It would be 31, then 30 days. In this particular case right now, we have 31 days for 2 months in a row. But then again, we also have 2 eclipses next month. Not 1, but 2. And mind you, that they won't be seen in North America. As far as I know, they will not be seen in North America. But that doesn't mean much to me. Doesn't mean much at all, but I'll tell you what does mean much. So my wife sent a near-death experience to me, and as you guys know, I've read about and researched and watched probably hundreds of near-death experiences, and have essentially come to the conclusion that they are the result of a person's unique soul signature, unique subjective experience of their own universe. Which I don't necessarily know if that's a good thing, to have conflicting information brought upon us as we try to uncover what this is that we're in. And I haven't even considered the fact that an afterlife may not be the same in the Mandela world as it was in the natural world prior. Perhaps it's different now. That is a consideration we must contemplate. And just the afterlife experience in general for the universe as a whole is just kind of interesting to me. When alien species die, right? Or when an avatar dies in another life, for example. Now, you guys know about a handful of dreams that I've had where I actually witnessed myself dying in another dimension, in another life, and then observing that self having its soul leave its body. So it's a similar kind of third-person observation. Like, the question is, does everything go to the same realm of the absolute? Is there a matrix construct in all realities? I don't know. Do some constructs have a soul trap, but others don't? Do none of them have a soul trap? This is a question that's been on my mind. What really bothers me, though, is that near-death experience I saw today. So, the lady was not religious or affiliated with any kind of belief. And she had this really long and detailed experience after a jet ski accident where, the heavens were showing her, imagery and iconography related to Christianity. And she saw like a physical heaven. And what I mean by that is that it was an earth-like reality with green grass and tall trees and animals. And that's something that's very interesting to me, because I did not see that reality. I've seen similar things in dreams. And I've had out-of-body experiences in which I did approach a river of life, and this river would have this crystalline water that was just infused with life force energy and things like that. I don't know if that's the same type of realm, but it does bother me a little bit that what I witnessed was a formless realm. It did not have anything, related to, the physical presence of a construct, besides the fact of, me observing the timeline of Earth and that portion of it where I saw, the Roman Empire and all that. Aside from that, there was no sense of physicality. And I wonder why that is. Is it I have to assume that there's layers of dimensions that different souls gravitate to and observe. Perhaps in my case, it wasn't necessary for me to observe a physical realm, and I was immediately taken to a realm which I consider the realm of the absolute. And whatever it is, it embodied the energetics of eternity. It was everything and nothing. But many people have seen this Earth-like planet after they die. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because that kind of afterlife does not really sound appealing to me. Maybe for a short time, but I really want to, deconstruct the nature of consciousness. And what's fascinating to me is making observations of interactions between beings here in the dream world and other realities. Those observations of interactions, they have some kind of effect on my mind that I can't quite explain, because I know there is an underlying deeper cause to a deeper truth behind every interaction that we all do, that is hidden and layered upon layered upon layered. That wasn't the part of the experience that bothered me. There's a couple of things that bother me. Why is it that I've never once seen Jesus? I have never ever seen him. Not even in dreams. Not in any out-of-body experience that I had. Now, to me, that's fascinating. Why is that? My wife almost told me that it wasn't a real experience because I didn't see Jesus. That kind of stings you in the heart a little bit, and it's kind of insulting to what I experienced. He's a mysterious and elusive figure, as ever. And the closest thing I saw to like an anthropomorphic god in my dreams was many years ago. I saw what looked like something very similar to 2001: A Space Odyssey, and the ending scene when that space captain became a decrepit old man. I did see a being that looked 1,000 times older than that one time, and in the dream was saying that it was God, and it looked very sad and looked very lonely. I'm sure I did have dreams of Jesus many years ago. I just don't have a recollection right now. But again, that's not what bothered me the most. What bothered me the most is that she had this life review. And in the life review, she said that her 7th generation great-grandpa laid out a generational curse that would follow her family through time from one generation to the next. And that she, who passed on, was the one that was supposed to break that curse. And the curse was something, a choice one of the old grandfathers made. And it created some sort of space-time ripple effect that affected the minds of future generations. Now that seems very unfair to me. You know why that seems very unfair? Because it's a similar idea to Adam and Eve did it, and now we all have to suffer because of them. That's one of the things that bothered me the most about Christianity. Why do we have to suffer because of what Adam and Eve did? You can apply the same logic to a generational curse. And I do believe such things exist. But my question is, if she was in the heavenly realm, why couldn't God just break it himself? Why was it initiated or brought about to begin with when it could have been stopped? But then again, all this evil could have been stopped, and it never seems to be stopped, does it? It's a fascinating dynamic. Deeply troubling, deeply and profoundly troubling. It's been last few days have been really just not normal. There's these swings, these energetic swings that take place for some reason. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this, the idea of having a generational curse brought upon a family. You know, and then how does that even play into karma? I mean, if the next generation does it, is it really their fault? But they brought upon, the curse was brought upon them for the next generation, so how can they really be held responsible for this generational curse? Strange.